Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel and more Blood and Plunder here as we work our way through the last few unaligned and peripheral lists. Another massive one here today to follow on from the Brethren of the Coast. That's the Logwood Cutters. So roughly 1640 to 1763. So one of the longest lasting ones here as far as timeline goes. So let's jump right in. There's a lot going on with this list. So one of the only ones to actually think have something where a lot of lists have, hey, if this forces the attacker, then, X, Y, Z. This one also has that, but also has, I think, uniquely, if this forces the defender, an ability there. So let's jump right in, and then we'll get into the units. If this forces the attacker in a scenario, once per game, the controlling player may discard all the activation cards in their hand and replace them with the same number of new ones without spending a fortune point. So we saw that over with the Brethren as well. Although here specifically triggering off of if you're the attacker, right? Whereas these guys got that automatically. But we also have a defender ability when this is an interesting one, very unique and flavorful. So some good, some maybe not so great effects. So if you're the defender, you roll a d10 and apply the following. On a 1, unprepared. So everybody with a musket gains 2 reload markers at the start of the game. So you're going to be spending a little bit of time loading up your guns, basically. Drunk is 2 to 5. You apply the drunk scenario rule. That's on 143, which can be funny, but also not necessarily that helpful. On a 6 through 7, no effect, so you're okay. It's just normal. But on an 8 to 10 is really what we're aiming for, if we can get it. During the game's first turn, each unit gains a free action of any kind when activated. So, could be to move, right? Get a little bit further distance covered without having to spend those actions. Kind of loosens up the maybe the activation order that you're going to try for with your cards, so you don't have to necessarily give some of the more action-heavy cards to certain units. You're going to get a free move potentially, or just free something else. But unlikely to get a lot of maybe first-turn shots, depending on the scenario. But yeah, it is just cool to have that. So got a couple of bad effects, a neutral effect, and then one really good one. Similar to the Brethren, we are spoiled on unit choices, although this one skews more heavily towards the support choices. Here we just have a couple of common, or a couple of basic core unit choices, but they're all pretty good. So we get, and again, this is sort of a multinational force here, much like the Brethren. So core units, freebooters and flibustiers, English and French, great stuff. Also the engagés for the French. So we have a pretty good list just with those unit choices right there. But wait, we have all kinds of other goodies for support. So we got Sea Dogs, Marins, Marineros, Zayleiden, Capers, European sailors. So we're really spoiled for sailor choices. We can get whatever we want from basically all those nationalities. We do get the Buccaneers as well for the French, but also veteran freebooters on the from the English list, and access to that as well. So a really good list, again, all around between core and support. We can choose more or less whatever units we need to get the job done. Everything from just your typical infantry unit to general good shooting units with muskets, all the way up to great sailors and close combat heavy units with like sword and pistol and so on and so forth. Command options, again, any sea commander, English or French, any English or French Buccaneer commander, but also John Morris as our sole special character. So again, whether we're playing on sea or land, we're also going to be able to tailor the list a little bit to excel. Also has a force option. So another fun rule here, out of practice, any unit in this force may be downgraded 1 experience level for -1 point per level. So if we're just looking to fill out the list with some bodies maybe, and we don't necessarily care so much about the experience level for certain ones, we just want a lot of units, and ideally maybe even maxed out, we can just downgrade without having to do anything else to the unit because of that force special rule. Sometimes the downgrades on certain units require maybe losing certain weapons or other gear and stuff like that. Here we can just do that as part of the list, so that's a nice ability as well. So again, with this and the Brethren, 2 of the lists that just have some of the just biggest volume of potential options and choices for us. And then also the allied factions, if we're playing at army scale, again, English and French Buccaneers, and then basically the opposite of the Brethren here. So where the Brethren can take the Logwood Cutters can take the Brethren. It just makes sense. So basically very similar allied choices. So, and as we mentioned in the Brethren video, if we were playing army scale and just run these two lists together, we have just an absolutely insane amount of choices and options to where really the opponent can't really game plan for you, because you can do just about anything. You could have a certain type of list in one game, completely change it for the other and do something entirely different, have it almost be like a wholly separate army. So nonetheless, a fun list to test out. And again, if you've already invested in like English, French, Dutch, etc., this just gives you more mileage for the units that you've already bought into. You're just kind of combining some different nationalities, and boom, you have another list to play with more options. Keeps the game fresh as well. And one of the great things about Blood and Plunder, you get a lot of mileage out of your troops and everything that you've invested in for the game. So let us know, guys, if you've built Logwood Cutters, how you've gone about building that, and what your successes and potential failures have been. Where do you feel like you've been strong against opponents, and where have you maybe struggled? Hit us up in the comments for that. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll have much more for Blood and Plunder for you guys soon. We've got 2 more factions to go. Then we'll be starting some other series for the game as well. But hope you enjoyed. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.